Does this mean I'm racist? Marvel's Ironheart reactions are in, but you're racist if you don't like it. Wait, what? You're racist if you don't like Ironheart? Is that true? She was introduced in the comics in 2016, so the character was essentially developed for woke content, yawn. The character was unpopular since the introduction. It didn't help in Wakanda Forever. The character was written like trash. I feel like in general, people are going to look at this and they're going to think that this is them replacing Iron Man with a black actress instead of Robert Downey Jr. for like a diversity reason. Like that's what people are going to see. Now, you might say that's not true. You might say that's not fair. You can say whatever the hell you want, but that's what people are going to look at and that's what they're going to see.
Ironheart just dropped on Disney+, and it's already being called the worst MCU series yet. After Wakanda Forever, people were excited to see Riri Williams shine, but instead of a genius hero, we get a reckless, selfish version of her character with zero moral compass. The story's a mess. She gets kicked out of MIT, joins a gang for money, and somehow, nobody questions her shady behavior.
The final episodes of Ironheart have officially dropped on Disney+, and wow, it's already blowing up in Disney's face. Marvel Studios and the Disney company are scrambling like never before. Behind the scenes, Bob Iger and Kevin Feige are in full-blown crisis mode. They're stressing hard over the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the massive backlash surrounding Ironheart, worried that this might seriously mess up Fantastic Four, which drops later this month.
Ironheart might actually be the queerest Marvel property since Agatha all along, and it's hella black, and my motto is make it black or make it gayer. Welcome to my safe haven. So this is something I was just thinking about that randomly popped into my head, and I'm like, I gotta make a video about it. But yeah, Ironheart is kinda hella gay.
Ironheart just dropped on Disney+, and it's already being called the worst MCU series yet. After Wakanda Forever, people were excited to see Riri Williams shine, but instead of a genius hero, we get a reckless, selfish version of her character with zero moral compass.
Nice of you to finally join us.
Here's the squad. Clown, our pyrotechnic specialist. Stewart, tech specialist.
It's not Stewart, it's Rampage.
Now here's where it gets wild. More and more celebrities are speaking out against Bob Iger, calling him out one by one, and the biggest voice in the crowd? None other than Mel Gibson. He's not holding back when it comes to Disney and what he calls their DEI agenda. Gibson's been super vocal, blasting the company's direction and calling out what he sees as a major problem in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Disney can't seem to catch a break. It's flop after flop, disaster after disaster. Every release tanks harder than the last one, and it honestly feels like they're just digging themselves into a deeper hole with each step they take.
There's no doubt about it that the Ironheart series is definitely by far the worst creation by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, by Marvel Studios and the Disney company for obvious reasons. We all know that there's an agenda and there's a lot of messaging behind this show, but one thing is for certain about this series is that all agendas aside, let's be very real about this, there's a lack of character development. The directing, the producing, the writing is just way off. It makes no sense at all, and it's very lackluster. There's no depth to it all, and we already know that the first 3 episodes pretty much were labeled as abysmal by many Marvel fans out there. You go over to Rotten Tomatoes, even the regular critics are not enjoying the show to its fullest. It's standing around 70-some% on Rotten Tomatoes. But when you look at the audience score, it is dumped at 59% at this point.
The chaos is unreal. And let's not forget, everyone's watching to see how Fantastic Four stacks up against James Gunn's new Superman movie. Will Marvel finally bounce back? Or will DC crush them at the box office? This showdown could change the entire superhero game, and it's all going down later this month. But here's the real kicker. It's Mel Gibson who's shaking things up even more. Mel Gibson is back at it, putting Disney on blast again after Ironheart dropped. And this time, he's ripping straight into the series itself. He's pointing out what tons of people are already feeling. This show just isn't it, let's be real. The only bright spot in the whole thing is Mephisto, played by Sacha Baron Cohen. He crushed that role, no doubt. But besides that, the rest of the series falls flat. Bad writing, weak directing, and a storyline that barely holds up. It's rough out here, and guess what? Disney and Marvel are freaking out as more celebrities step up to call out what they see as the company's agenda. With the Ironheart backlash snowballing, stars like Mel Gibson are making their voices heard louder than ever. And Gibson didn't hold back at all when he took aim at Disney and Marvel right after Ironheart dropped. Here's what he said. Well, man, I think when you really examine the nature of the Disney company, they really just don't get a clue. Just look at their Ironheart series.
Nice of you to finally join us.
Here's the squad. Clown, our pyrotechnic specialist. Stewart, tech specialist.
It's not Stewart, it's Rampage.
Slug, our hacker extraordinaire. John, HR.
Hi, I'm John. My parents didn't say I love you, so now I play with knives.
That was actually funny.
Trash! What's trash? Delete!
Uninstall!
Damn.
Trash! Trash!
Now, I don't know much about this character, but I do know enough that it doesn't honor the true legacy of one of the most favorite Marvel characters of all time. Iron Man and, Tony Stark played by Mr. Downey Jr. People are tired of this nonsense, man. That's a straight-up reality check. Fans are fed up, and even big names in Hollywood are saying enough is enough. People just want to enjoy a good show without getting hit with a lecture every 5 minutes. Marvel fans especially aren't tuning in to be force-fed gender politics or identity issues, especially in a series no one was really asking for in the first place. From what's being said, this whole thing seems like a product of Bob Iger trying to keep big investors like BlackRock happy. Companies that fully back DEI and ESG initiatives. But let's be real. Projects like this, they've got to stop. And even some hardcore Marvel fans I know couldn't stomach Ironheart. They couldn't believe Disney pushed out a show like this. And get this, I heard Disney shelved this series for nearly 2 years before finally releasing it. No wonder they tried to bury it. Feels like they knew people wouldn't be happy and still dropped it just to keep BlackRock satisfied. What a wild situation. But let's make one thing clear. It's not like Disney's just doing this to please investors. Disney itself is fully behind the DEI push. Still, people's frustration with Ironheart has nothing to do with race or ethnicity. Let's be fair about that. What fans are tired of is Disney's constant mental gymnastics and trying to play politics with their own audience.
They decided to center an entire promo video on these two characters.
Your dream is to be able to do this stuff, knock some big guys out and walk away and be like,
I do kind of want to stop and talk about this for a second. So if you got all this surgery, you take all these hormones to identify as masculine, not a man apparently because you're non-binary, whatever the you want to call this. Is it really that impressive then if you identify as a man to be beating up other men? I don't know how that works.
Gay news, Marvel just said queer rights. It finally looks like we're about to get the first major trans and non-binary characters in the MCU after Marvel just cast for their upcoming Ironheart series a trans actor.
People just want solid stories and fun entertainment, plain and simple. And the point can't be stressed enough. When a company puts an agenda ahead of a good story, that's where it all falls apart. That's when fans check out. And right now, Disney's feeling that hard. And here's the wild part. They basically admitted it. Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri Williams, straight up said there are times when it's justified to put diversity, equity, and inclusion above the actual story. She claims this is how you push certain agendas forward. So they're saying it without saying it. This is exactly the play Disney pulls all the time. Bob Iger's done the same thing. No surprise there. That's why so many people, including me, call him Bob Liger. Why? Because he's out here lying, not just to the fans, but to the shareholders too. And the only people he seems to really care about are the big three investors, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Those are the ones he's trying to keep happy, no matter what it costs the brand. And Mel Gibson, he's been calling this out for a while now. He always brings up how BlackRock and even California's Gavin Newsom are tied up in this mess. But here's what makes it even crazier. Bob Iger's on a mission to protect his legacy before stepping down in 2026. He's trying to leave the company looking like he saved it, but honestly, fantastic. 4 might be his last shot at a win in 2025. But even then, the guy keeps making moves that wreck the brand. Let's be real. Putting Ironheart on streaming was a terrible call. It only dragged Marvel's reputation down further. And look what they did with Snow White and the Star Wars sequels. It's like, what are they thinking? These were powerhouse franchises. Nobody thought they'd crash like this 20 years ago. At the end of the day, Disney needs to be called out for what's happening. A show like Ironheart makes it crystal clear. They're not thinking about the fans, and they don't care what kind of damage they cause along the way. At the end of the day, it feels like Disney only cares about keeping their biggest shareholders happy. The ones who've been pushing the DEI agenda hard ever since the Trump era shook things up. And whether you like Trump or not, one thing's clear. His time in office slowed down the entertainment industry's push for DEI in movies and TV. So when Disney rolled out Ironheart, it felt like a straight-up insult to fans. They should have never dropped this series, plain and simple, never. And of course, you've got California's Governor Gavin Newsom, who's all in on everything Disney's doing. If you speak out against it, suddenly you're being labeled things like sexist or misogynist. That's just how it goes these days. You criticize a Disney project like Ironheart or Snow White, and boom, they slap a label on you. That's the world we live in now. But here's the thing, those criticisms aren't coming out of hate. They're coming from people who miss when Disney just made great stories without forcing a message down your throat. Mel Gibson's got a point when he calls this out. He's saying what a lot of folks are thinking but too afraid to say out loud. Let's be honest, the legacy of Star Wars, Snow White, and even Marvel, it's not what it used to be. The magic's slipping away. Nobody's getting hyped for these live-action remakes of classic animated movies anymore, and the Star Wars sequels? People checked out a long time ago. Now Marvel's walking the same dangerous path. Fans aren't totally gone from the MCU yet, but more and more are losing interest fast. The Marvel brand is creeping closer to that same burnout stage where Star Wars ended up, where the excitement fades and people get tired of the same old formula. So yeah, it's good that Mel Gibson's out here speaking his mind, putting the spotlight on Disney's choices and calling it like he sees it. Sometimes someone's gotta say the hard truth, and it doesn't stop there. Behind closed doors, insiders are saying Disney is doubling down instead of learning from their mistakes. Word is, there are already plans for more shows just like Ironheart, packed with the same kind of messaging that fans have been rejecting over and over again. Can you believe that? Instead of focusing on what made Marvel great, killer storytelling, unforgettable heroes, and epic battles, they're caught up chasing trends that most moviegoers don't even care about. What's even crazier? Some Disney execs reportedly think the backlash is coming from a vocal minority. They truly believe that most fans are loving this direction, even when the numbers say otherwise. Ratings are down, fan engagement is crashing, and merchandise sales practically flatlining. And yet, they just keep pushing forward, ignoring the red flags all around them. Meanwhile, Mel Gibson and a handful of other stars are practically shouting from the rooftops, saying Disney needs to cut this out before it's too late. They're warning that if Disney keeps ignoring what their real audience wants, Marvel could end up like some forgotten streaming series no one talks about anymore. That's wild to even imagine. And let's be real, fans aren't asking for much. They just want fun, action-packed stories that honor the characters they grew up loving. No one's saying diversity is bad, but when the message comes before the plot, it ruins the vibe of the whole thing. People want to escape real-world politics when they turn on a superhero show, not feel like they're in a lecture hall. The truth is out now, and Disney can't hide from it. Ironheart didn't just flop quietly, it blew up all over the internet. And now the pressure's on for Fantastic Four to save what's left of Marvel's reputation. Will they finally listen to the fans, or are they too far gone? Guess we'll find out soon enough. And things are about to get even messier. New reports are flying around that some top Disney creatives are starting to clash behind the scenes. Insiders say there's real tension between the old-school Marvel veterans who built the MCU's success and the new wave of execs pushing these DEI-focused projects. It's like a full-on power struggle happening in the halls of Marvel Studios right now. From what people are saying, a lot of the original Marvel team wanted Ironheart to stick closer to the heart of the Iron Man legacy. making it about cool tech, intense action, and real character growth. But instead, it got loaded with political messaging that drowned out everything fans cared about. Now, those creatives are reportedly frustrated, saying this isn't the Marvel they worked so hard to build. Can you blame them? And guess who's watching all of this chaos unfold? James Gunn. Yep. Over at DC, Gunn is taking notes and getting ready to drop his Superman reboot, which might just sweep the box office while Marvel stumbles. Imagine that, DC taking the crown while Marvel fumbles its biggest properties. Who would have seen that coming 5 years ago? Even fans who love the early MCU phases are saying it feels like Marvel lost its soul. People used to count down the days for the next release. Now it's like, maybe I'll catch it later if I'm bored. That excitement, that spark, it's fading fast, and Disney's leadership keeps ignoring the warning signs. Mel Gibson isn't the only one saying it either. More actors, directors, and even ex-Disney insiders are starting to speak up, calling for the company to stop chasing agendas and start telling great stories again. Because if they don't, the MCU might collapse under its own weight, just like what happened with Star Wars. So now all eyes are on Fantastic Four. Will this be the turning point for Marvel, or the final nail in the coffin? The countdown's ticking, and fans everywhere are watching what Disney does next. And just when you think it couldn't get any wilder, guess what? There are now rumors swirling that some Disney execs are thinking about rebooting major Marvel characters way sooner than expected. Yeah, we're talking about big names like Thor, Hulk, and even Doctor Strange. Insiders claim they're considering replacing these characters with brand new faces to freshen up the MCU and win back younger audiences. But let's be honest, fans aren't asking for that at all. People still love Chris Hemsworth as Thor and Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. No one's begging for some rushed recasts or reboots just to push another agenda or trend. Fans want the characters they've grown with for over a decade, not some watered-down replacements that don't carry the same weight or history. This move could backfire big time. And what's crazy is, while Disney is cooking up these plans, they still haven't addressed the real issues fans keep bringing up. Weak writing, forced narratives, and shows that just don't feel like Marvel anymore. Instead of fixing the storytelling, they're talking about tossing out beloved heroes like they're yesterday's news. Can you believe it? Meanwhile, Mel Gibson keeps calling this out, saying Disney's losing sight of what made these characters iconic in the first place. And honestly, he's not wrong. People connected with Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor because they had heart, struggle, and real depth. Not because they checked a corporate box. If Disney keeps replacing fan-favorite characters without giving them proper send-offs, it's only going to make the fan backlash worse. People aren't stupid. They see what's happening and they're tired of it. At this rate, the MCU could be headed for a full collapse if they don't course correct soon. So the big question now is, will Fantastic Four reset the tone and save the MCU, or will it just be another flashy disappointment? Fans are watching every move Disney makes from here on out. And if they mess this up, it might be game over for Marvel's golden era. At the end of the day, the backlash over Ironheart was never about race or ethnicity. Let's be real about that. Fans love great characters, no matter where they come from. Look at Blade. People have been hyped for that movie for years, but where is it? It was supposed to release this year, and now it's been delayed again. Some insiders are even whispering that Blade might end up canceled altogether. Not confirmed yet, but it's looking shaky right now. So clearly, fans want these characters. What they don't want is the story getting lost in the middle of all this corporate messaging. Every time Marvel gets a chance to deliver something amazing, Disney somehow finds a way to mess it up. It's getting exhausting. And honestly, we need more celebrities to step up and call it like it is. Just like Mel Gibson's been doing. But what do you think? I want to hear your take on this. Is Ironheart gonna hurt Fantastic Four, or do you think Marvel still has time to turn this ship around? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this conversation going. And hey, if you enjoyed today's video, smash that like button to support the channel, share this with your friends, And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update on all this crazy drama. I'll catch you in the next one. But before you go, don't forget to check out the next video popping up on your screen right now. It's packed with even more wild celebrity drama you won't want to miss. See you soon.